Internet, hopefully. Hey everybody, and welcome to another show here. I'm actually not going to be on the show. I'm actually just helping here to kind of intro here as these guys go ahead and work through. Brian's working through some technical difficulties, some internet difficulties he's having, but we're gonna talk. I'm excited, man. We're gonna talk about some auction stuff. Auction drafts and an auction draft from last year specifically, which John's going to go ahead and throw up on the screen here once he gets a chance to. And some insights we can take away from that. So, do you happen to have that screen ready now, there, John? Can you hear me, John?
I hope so. Yep. Yep. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can. I think there's a little delay there. Sorry about that. But yeah. Okay, cool. So I see here. Perfect. There it is. Perfect. There is our little screen there. We're going to see here if Brian has his internet figured out. Brian, are you there, my friend? Not looking promising here.
What a great start.
Yeah. Well, hey, get settled in, grab some popcorn, grab a beer. It is Friday. It is almost quitting time. Obviously.
It's 5 o'clock somewhere. That is Toronto.
Yeah, there you go. 5 o'clock in Toronto, so I know John's partaking. I'm just going to go ahead and remove Brian from the stream here real quick. We're going to see if he can get his internet figured out. I'm guessing he's just restarting his internet. But we'll see if he can get there. But yeah, I guess while we're waiting here for Brian, John, can you give me some just some general, I guess, overviews of this auction, what the listeners and watchers are going to be able to kind of glean from this?
Sure. Yeah, pretty standard Yahoo auction, 14 team, half PPR, $200, 1 QB, 2 running back, 3 wide receiver, tight end flex, defense kicker, right? Pretty standard league, but 14 teams is a lot for an auction. And just, nobody gets anyone cheap. Nobody gets anyone sliding by. And it's hard to have a real strategy because, I always like to save money, but then there's also 3 guys with money. So then you're always kind of overpaying for the guys you like late. It's always kind of chaos, but I ended up coming second last year, following my double tight end strategy, which I'm going to reveal shortly. And it's a war of attrition. I scored 88 points in the final. I lost by about 7. And that's just how fantasy football goes. You just limp to the finish line and hope for the best.
Yeah, I like you guys do stick around, obviously, for that double tight end strategy there. I do like that a lot. I think it's an interesting one, to say the least. And sometimes you have to throw these little interesting wrinkles in just to keep things fresh and exciting. But yeah, tell me a little bit about the auction process. So I know I've done some slow auctions before where we have like 8 hours and then a winning bid resets the timer for that. But like, was it this? I'm guessing this was like in-person live auction, correct?
Yeah, not in person, but yeah. It's so much different than Snake because Snake, you're locked into your spot. You got your couple, there's just guys that are going to be out of reach for you. And you just kind of wait and pick. Live auction, I mean, you're just glued. You can't leave your computer for 25 seconds or because the guy you want is going to go up. You got to have patience but you also got to be aggressive because, there's some people only bid on their guys. So they just sit there and wait. And then other guys that nobody wants will go for a steal. So you got to be willing to bid guys up, but you got to know where your limit is. It's like walking on a tightrope of razors.
Yeah, and it is the best way to draft, in my opinion. I've only done a few of them in football and basketball, but it's the best way to draft because you have everyone has equal access or equal ability to draft everybody. Unlike Snake, where a guy obviously is going to go in the 1-2 range in a draft in the first round. So if you have pick 11, there's 0 chance you're going to get them. Basically, that's not the case in auction. You just have to be willing to put your salary cap dollars where your mouth is. If you really want that guy, go get him. He's out there. So I do love it. One thing I do like to employ in auction, and like I said, I've only done slow auctions, but go ahead and throw guys out there that are big names that I really don't want to play or don't want to pay for, so that I get a lot of the dollars to come out of the overall pool to begin with. I think Brian's back, but talk a little bit about that, John. Is that something you employ as well?
I mean, I think that's pretty much the strategy that almost everyone employs.
Right. Yeah.
Right. You get the money out of the pool for the guys you don't want. Or, especially too. Oh, Brian, you back?
Yep, I can hear you guys.
All right, perfect. We got Brian back. We're going to go ahead and let Brian and John take this over and start breaking this down. Sorry for the delay there, guys. I'll be behind the scenes enjoying everything. But for now, go ahead, John. Go ahead, Brian. You guys take over.
Oh, all right. Let her keep. All right, Brian. What's up?
Not much. Good old refresh of the internet. But yeah, you guys were talking about how you guys were talking about how everybody does to get people out of the way early that you don't want.
Yeah, it's pretty much the oldest strategy in auction drafts there is.
Yeah. I actually think sometimes you can, when there is a little bit more like question marks around a certain tier, like top running backs, top wide receivers all go probably in the 50s somewhere. But if you can try to find a different tier, like a tier 3 wide receiver, put that out at the beginning that you're really interested in, you could find some value because nobody knows nobody knows where that's going to come. You normally know the top and the bottom, but it's pretty hard to find the middle.
I agree. No, that's always a great strategy. I like to do that too. I'll throw out maybe one of the big guys that I really want early. And since the market hasn't really been set, a lot of times you can get them for like, maybe $5-6 cheaper. And then, 20 minutes later, everyone's like, man, that was a steal.
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So this is my league.
Think it's funny that, yeah, I was just saying it's funny the kickers and defense, what they're spent on at the beginning.
Yeah, it's kind of there's some scumbags who try and steal guys early, which I think it's just like the worst etiquette in the world.
I don't mind it because you spent $5 on 49. I mean, the auction that I always do, I'm in one every year. It's like everyone tries to get the $1 guys. I assume this is $200 max, right?
Yep.
Yeah, and it's just like,
yep.
We got a big Bills fan. So he'll put out the Bills kicker. Someone will bid him $2 because he knows he's going to go $3 every time. And that's definitely one of the fun parts about auction is just you can mess with people. There's a lot more strategy and competitiveness with these bidding. Sometimes you get someone so heated that they overpay and it's fun. Other times you're the one who gets stuck with them and that also stinks.
Yeah, for sure. So just since this is my league and I can talk about it for hours, just first takeaways from when you just looking at the results here.
I mean, quarterbacks, it's like the top ones are going like high teens, a little bit more in the 20s. That I'm very curious how that's going to work this year. I had similar. Josh Allen was paid a lot for. I had pretty similar pricing in my auctions, and I'm curious if that 33 for Josh Allen is just going to be the normal.
No, that was kind of a spite pay because it was my buddy, and one of my other good buddies is a Bills fan, and so he kind of bid him up and put him, out of reach. Because if you look comparatively, then Mahomes, right? Mahomes ends up going for I think way cheaper. Is it 7?
Yeah.
Yeah, right. So it's like it's just I guess it ended up being Josh Allen's a stud, but that was definitely one of the big overpays of the draft, and luckily didn't set the QB market.
Yeah, I'm just curious if the QB market's going to be set higher for this year is what I'm talking about is because QBs in general
with the top 3.
Yeah, so that is something that sticks out, I think, from what I saw was there's normally one QB that goes a good amount. I remember Lamar after his MVP season went for 30-ish. And I'm just curious if the Allen, Hurts, Mahomes are going to stay in that 30 market.
Oh, I got dogs. 1 sec.
But I do think that I think you're going to find a good amount of QBs going in the high teens now. And I think I do predict that you're going to see a lot, those top 3 quarterbacks, at least around 25.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with that. I won't be buying one of them, but
I hear you.
But I think there's like a QB, I bought Kyler last year or paid for 11, and I thought that was a steal. But we talked about that before he ended up busting. But I don't think you want to just get that Kirk Cousins for $4, even though you save money. Like 11, $15 isn't going to kill you, right? If you can get Burrow, Herbert, you're probably not going to get Fields, but you get that, and then you compare that with another QB for a couple bucks who, you can just plug in for a great matchup.
Agreed. No, I think you guys have a lot of, it looks like kind of the middle tier. There's a lot of people going in the 30s and high 20s. That, to me, from kind of my experience, I didn't have that. So it is interesting to see. You guys have a lot more of a middle tier. The ones that I have, like my main one I do, it tends to be like a good, like a pretty big higher tier. Your top 5 running backs, your top 5 receivers are all going in maybe the 60s or around there. And then you just get a bunch of low 20s, high teens for your like wide receiver 3s and 2s.
How many people in that league though?
It's 12. We have a bit of a keeper rule, so I don't know if that inflates the price a little, but it's only one keeper and it's $10 more than the price of last year.
Yeah, that shouldn't shock it that much. Looking back, the thing I noticed the biggest was like some of these running backs with their price compared to what they're going for this year. Like especially Kamara, right? Went for 51. I
saw DeAndre Swift was 47.
Yeah, right. And then Dalvin Cook. And then I was just looking at Yahoo earlier, and they're all like less than $10 this year.
Yeah. I mean, Dalvin makes sense. Kamara, the suspension, but the turnover at running back it's scary.
Yeah, right. I can't justify spending that much money on a running back with the potential cliff.
Did you go into this draft with a certain strategy of I'm going to go stars and scrubs, I'm going to wait, I'm going to get a bunch of value at the end, I might not have a star player, or were you just
I always kind of have that strategy. I always get Kelsey rule, so I did that, and then I paid 27 for Pitts, which I thought was a steal. But I'm like $70 committed just to tight ends, right? So I couldn't really afford to go spend on somebody. I think I got really lucky, right? My strategy is always get backup running backs. So I got Ramondre cheap, and I got Penny cheap, and then I got Pollard pretty cheap. And those just you're not gonna get lucky in that. So I think my team is actually kind of the blueprint, minus maybe the double tight end strategy. But I don't know who the second, like, what are the handcuff running backs you would target this year?
I'd say whichever one of the Bengals ones. I think it's Ford, and I can't think of the other. Is it Brown is the other guy? Backup Bengals I like just because Mixon hurt a lot. I want to get a piece of whoever emerges as the second Vikings running back, just because you've Madison, he's a pretty hyped pick now. People are you have a lot of options with Madison, and who knows, maybe someone else comes in at the end, or maybe Madison can't handle it and he gets hurt again. I think he's a pretty solid, or that backfield's a pretty solid one to go after. I don't want to touch the Eagles backfield, or at least I don't want to pay up for it. If you can get someone super cheap, like a $3 or $4 on any of Penny, Swift.
Oh yeah,
not going to get.
They're not going to go that cheap though.
But like Kenny Gainwell, I think.
I know you like your Kenny Gainwell.
I think he's running with the ones a lot. I think there's just opportunity, and he did well in the playoffs. Worst case, you drop him. Bummer.
Yeah, let me just hype this fantasy pass, right? We got it. It's $4, covers everything. I've been talking to my buddies who aren't dialed in as much as we are, and they don't know anything. So if you guys get this $4 a month, I guarantee it's going to give you a leg up on any of the competition in any of your home leagues. we've got pretty much everything covered. So definitely check that out. Hopefully Keith can throw up a link or something. But otherwise, moving on. I was gonna again looking at this. Another thing I was looking at, it's like what do you value? The like sexiness or stability, right? Taking the young guys or taking the old guys that nobody really wants that you can kind of get at a discount, but is there also a reason for that?
Yeah, and I think even just on this screen, you see AJ Brown, Tyreek Hill, both of them new quarterbacks last year, new teams last year. A lot of question marks around them. And then you see right next to him, Debo, $8 more. You would have been loving either Brown or Hill over Debo there.
Oh yeah. Debo went for a fortune.
Yeah.
But like I was just looking, so one of my things also is just second-year wide receivers. Here, I'll scroll down a bit. Right. I remember looking at your draft. Waddle, right, went in like the 5th, and that was a steal. And then who else was I looking at? Second year guys from last year. Oh yeah, Amon-Ra St. Brown. Everyone liked him. He went for $20. He crushed that. And then there was one more I really liked that went for steal. I forget who it is, but for this year, right? It's like you got 4 guys. You got Christian Watson, you got Drake London, you got Olave, and George Pickens, right? I think those are the 4 second-year guys that all have a chance to break out, and they're all probably going to go for what, maybe $20 cap. I saw Drake London was about like 7 or 8, which seems ridiculous. But how do you rank them?
Did you include Wilson? Did I just miss that?
Wilson. Oh, I just assume Wilson's is already locked in stud.
Oh yeah.
And there's no discount.
Olave I think is the best.
Yeah.
Watson, I want to end up with Watson on teams where I go safe early, just because his upside is through the roof. He'll get you a 200-yard game with 2 touchdowns, and he'll follow it up with like 15 yards a catch and nothing else. I like that. He'll win me a week, and I think that could pair well with one of the more safer running backs if you want to go that route. Drake London, I just find it hard to trust that passing offense. Ritter's going to be better than Mariota, but like, are you going to be happy with, I don't know, 900 yards, 4 touchdowns? Like that sounds fine.
Probably not.
That sounds fine, but you might be paying up for, like, Olave did that in his rookie year, pretty much.
And you went for nothing. Okay, what about the other end of the spectrum? We got older guys, right? Let's just stick on wide receivers. Like last year, so we got the biggest ones probably on the Chargers, right? I paid like $27 for him, huh?
Keenan Allen,
right? Yeah, right. I think he had 80 yards in the first half of week 1, hamstring, 7-8 weeks, he's toast. Like,
yeah.
Would you pay for Keenan Allen this year, or would you rather take Drake London?
I don't think I'm going to end up with much of either, for being honest.
Okay.
I would rather Keenan, just because.
Yeah, but you're probably 18, 22 for Keenan, maybe 7 to 12 for Drake.
Yeah. I would. Yeah, I mean, that one I'm probably just going to take whoever's cheaper in that aspect. I almost like Mike Evans over them as well, both of them. I just think
Evans is probably he's probably the president of that group, right? Older guy,
Evans,
bad QB.
Hopkins.
Yep.
You have a bunch that are no one trusts Odell Beckham, and you guys don't like him as much as I might, but like there's opportunity there. Someone's got to take that.
Let's say this is your wide receiver core. You get Mike Evans, Hopkins, and Beckham, or you get Drake London, Christian Watson, and we'll give him Olave.
I would take the second, mostly just because I think Olave is the best out of that crew, and Christian Watson, I just love that variability. But Drake London I don't like the price he's at now. And I do think I think Allen's just safer. And a lot of the times I go safe pretty early on. Like you're going to see me normally with a safer first round pick, like a running back with a bunch of who I know is going to get a bunch of carries and stuff. And I think that's why I tend to like the upside of the Christian Watsons and even Olave.
Okay,
what would you
about
go?
overall auction? Oh, I'm taking the young guys all the time. I'm addicted to sexiness. Those four. Pickens too. Those four guys. I'm gonna get two of them in every draft. No matter what.
How do you feel about Pickens?
I don't know. I kind of love him because he's a monster. I love his size and his physicality. But I keep seeing these training videos. He's making these great grabs, but he's also got no separation. So, he's just going to be making these Hail Mary catches from Pickett the whole season. Like, I don't love that, but I think he's probably an 8 to 10 touchdown threat, and I think he should get close to 1,000 yards. So,
I may be a little scarred from a similar ex-Pittsburgh receiver in Claypool, who there was so much hype over after his rookie year. He had some crazy plays, just an athletic freak.
It's a perfect comp.
I mean, maybe it'll work this time. Pittsburgh and their wide receivers, maybe their old wide receiver coach left, but like you had a pretty long streak of Brown, Juju, Johnson. They were all doing well under Roethlisberger.
Yeah, no, of course. Okay, well, let's go overall draft strategy. So do you like to when you're near the end, do you want to be in like the 3 or 4 guys who's got money still in the bank to go pick and choose your guys later on? Or did you blow it early and you're just sitting trying to get your dollar guys?
I tend to do the more stars and scrubs approach.
Okay.
But I like to save money for to snipe all the dollar guys with the $2.
Yeah.
And not only does your night end quicker, which some people enjoy because auctions can be a process, but there tends to always be some fallers just due to everyone wants to get their guy by the end. So you see people who maybe would be like a 10th, 11th, 12th round pick in a normal snake draft that are just out there for $1 when maybe they should have been more. And I do think that's where your $2, if you can have enough to bid $2 on a few of those people, it's quite useful.
Oh, of course. I remember 2 years ago. Yeah, I accidentally nominated Pollard for $1 when I wanted to do 2. So not last year, the year before. But I only had enough for 2. So the guy got him for 1. Pollard was, a monster.
Yeah.
It probably cost me $2. But so let's just scroll through here quickly. Like who are these guys? Can you see the screen here?
Yep, I got it.
Who went late that that you, I don't know, that you like, or gives you the feeling for this season, right? We got a lot of $3, $2, but did anyone really do anything here? All right, we got Jamal Williams for $3. That's got to be one of the best picks in history.
I mean, I think I like the mindset of the Kansas City receivers at the end.
Oh, yeah.
You're just taking a shot, whether it's Sky Moore, MVS, no matter what you hear, he's always a starting receiver. I don't think
he's got no ceiling.
Yeah, he has a ceiling. I just you can find people like him on the waiver wire, but there could be upside. Maybe this is the year, or he's just if you have a deep bench, he's a solid bye-week fill-in. You can do way worse than that. Zay Jones there. You got lucky with the Trevor Lawrence breakout pretty much. And I think...
But everyone kind of knew that was coming.
Yeah, Tyler Lockett is just a steal at $9, but that was because no one knew Geno was going to be good.
Yeah, DK went for 17, right?
Exactly.
Will DK ever go for $17 again into the next 10 years?
I hope not. So he'll be on my team.
Yeah, exactly, right? But I mean, so I think the move, especially because the rookies, right? We got here Olave went for 6, right? That's a huge steal. Let's see, Eddie. All right, that's probably getting up there. But
Pickens was a rookie of 5.
yeah, what did it? What? Yeah. I mean, that wasn't bad. But yeah, that's for like this year. I just think almost all my wide receivers are going to be second year rookie guys. But I'm worried. Like, is there a sexiness? Like, am I? That's also I can't be the only one who has that strategy, right?
I mean, I think with you, especially because you normally like this, you pay up for Kelsey. So
Yeah.
that's
Oh,
such
yeah.
a good way of that combo. I am fully for, and whether it's you pay up for a quarterback and you do that strategy or a tight end, it's in my opinion, it's difficult to pay up for both unless you're just doing the Mahomes Kelsey stack.
Yeah. Well,
But
it's hard. Yeah, it's hard not
yeah,
to.
it is. But then you really got to make up ground somewhere. And if the way you make up ground is I'm just going to have a bunch of rookie receivers and second years, and if I have 5 and 3 break out, I'm starting 3 of them. Like, great. If not, like, you can't. I feel like with Kelsey, it's hard to lose your draft, like lose your whole season in the draft, if you can just start taking shots on upside everywhere else. Because Kelsey, maybe this is the year. I don't think it is. Like, Kelsey's been
probably the last year. Yeah. Yeah, let me hype this draft guide again. We got $4 for draft guide for a month. We got everything. We got mock drafts. We got podcasts. We got rankings, upside sleepers. Brian just did a why you shouldn't pay for QBs, and you can argue with that or agree with them. We'll probably eventually have a Jameson Williams. Will he or won't he? But it's the best deal in the world, right? If you're in a money league, you're paying $4 a month. I guarantee it's going to give you a much bigger edge than anything out there. So. Sign up, log in, pay for it, take the edge, win your house league, dominate.
Yeah, and even coming next week, myself and Shane did the why you should pay up for the quarterbacks. We're going to go back and forth and see who you guys trust. I think, especially this year, it's been a pretty hotly debated topic. And whether you agree with me or not, I think you're going to learn a lot about how and when to draft your QBs there.
So what's the QB Mount Rushmores that you'd want on your team right now? Because you don't want to pay for the 3, but probably don't want to pay for Lamar.
In auction, I'm more willing to pay just because you have more say in the risk you can take. Just because you can build your team however you want in auction, I would be a little bit more willing to pay, but I just don't like it in the snake at 2nd and 3rd.
Oh yeah, for sure. But like Herbert, would you pay what? Would you pay 16 for Herbert?
I'd much rather just get Richardson and Geno, or Richardson and Daniel Jones, Richardson and somebody else in that probably 10 to 15 range that is going to be pretty safe, even if it's Richardson and Cousins. Like,
yeah, I like that. I like that combo.
Yeah, just Richardson. I mean, the offense he's in now is the same offense Jalen Hurts was in last year.
Yeah.
He's gonna get the rushing production to the point of could he be Fields from last year? Maybe. He's not gonna obviously be Hurts with the passing volume, but he might be very safe where you're just getting 20 points a game. That 20 points a game would have been 4th last year. I
agree. I think Richardson's almost he's almost has must draft on him, right? If you can, just because it's gonna be out of this world. Okay, what about let's switch? Let's go because we'll go to tight ends because that's my tight end's my jam. So is there a world in which you would pay 42 for Kelsey and then pay 27 for Kyle Pitts?
No, but 42 for Kelsey seems cheap as anything. In my what I've been seeing him in the 50s as well.
Well, yeah, this season because I think the book's out. It's like 10 straight years of not missing games and outproducing every other tight end by like 800%.
It also depends like how much does your league trade? I think that is pretty darn important to. Okay, say I ended up with Pitts because I thought he was a value at 27. Yeah, hindsight 2020 probably wasn't, but
no.
But at the time being, okay, he goes off first 2 weeks. You trade him for whatever you're lacking. So maybe you didn't get a running back you liked, and somebody has 3 of them. You can craft a trade around that. But if you know that your league isn't very willing to make trades and transact a lot, then I wouldn't go for the 2 if you have a stud. Like if you,
That's a good point. That's a really good point.
in my opinion, if I get a stud tight end or QB, I'm not even getting a second one because it's just a spot on my bench that I'd rather have the Bengals backup running back just in case Joe Mixon gets hurt week 1. He's on my team.
Yeah, I mean, I can't argue with that. Yeah, my league doesn't trade that much, but I do. I mean, I'll probably trade I'll trade as much as every other GM, in the league combined.
I'm pretty similar to you.
So like I think week 3, I traded Ramondre and Penny for Dalvin Cook because Cook was slow. And then my team was just out of whack. I started 0-4 and made the finals. How crazy is that?
Yeah, I'm trying to think who won that trade, but it's you got the stud there, you did, but it's still pretty even considering how the other 2 did at the end of the season.
Well, yeah, Penny got hurt, right? So that swung that, and then I ended up trading Devin Singletary for Renfro. That hurt. But yeah,
I like Renfro this year. How do you feel about him?
He's okay. I mean, whenever you get burned, you're a little hesitant, but he's okay. But he seems like the kind of guy Jimmy will like. Nice, safe, 8-yard routes. But I don't know. Was he a flash in the pan? What happened last season? I mean, they're probably going to pass less with Jimmy than they did Carr. Devontae's still a target monster. It doesn't seem like he helps anyone else because he just gets fed. So, I mean, I'd pay $2 for Renfro at the end of the draft. But
yeah, I feel like pairing a Renfro with all your first year receivers could be a small way to just kind of hedge that risk a little, because I was surprised when I was looking into Renfro's target share. It was still above 20% when he was playing. That's just because, he's going to get your 8 yards. He's probably not going to have many touchdowns, but in a PPR, if you get 6-7 receptions for 60 yards, that's a flex. You can work with that, and you at least know what to expect.
Yep, that didn't feel like it last year. All right, let's go easy and basic here. Let's go your best and worst values you see here as I kind of scroll down here. So I got the top 16 here, best and worst.
I mean, the Aaron Najee just didn't work out. That's hard to predict. I was pretty high on him too. Just awful offensive line.
The worst.
That foot injury definitely hurt him.
Yeah, bad QB too. Stack boxes.
Yeah, I think that's probably your worst. I guess Jonathan Taylor.
We won't count Taylor.
Yeah.
Okay, and your favorite pick, best value there?
I
think Justin Tucker for $3.
I don't hate if you really just love a guy for, especially kicker, defense. If you want to, I say $3 is the max, but that's just my opinion. But if you want to spend that little bit extra to get somebody you want, go for it, because the amount you're going to spend on waivers, streaming every week, it's helpful to just have something set. But I mean, Christian McCaffrey, you got what you paid for there, which is always good when you're putting 60 out.
That's just something I'll never do, because just going here, I'd rather Travis Etienne and James Conner, right? I'd rather get 2 of those guys. It won't match his production, but it's just the Jonathan Taylor stuff from it's just football, right? You can get screwed way too easily. I will never pay to play.
I tend to. I like going to, but this past year I did Henry and McCaffrey.
Wow, Jesus!
I ended up trading.
That worked out pretty well, though.
I ended up trading. I trade a lot. I traded both of them. They weren't on my team to end. I ended the year with Eckler, Cook, and I got Devontae Smith out of it as well. which worked out well for me.
Yeah, I think he finished as like a top 3 wide receiver the last like quarter of the season, right?
Yeah, that was a very lucky trade for me. But when it comes to trading, I just tend to, you're not going to win all your trades, but if you win more than 50% and you do enough, you're ahead.
Yeah, but Devontae, he's another guy. He's a guy I targeted. 2nd-year wide receiver, right? I got him for like 19, and it's just a steal. I mean, one of my theories is like you always want to, if you can get the guy for whatever he is, if next year he's going to be more, you won that pick, right?
Agreed.
So that's just I'm just the biggest proponent of the 2nd-year guys. Okay, I don't know if we talked about this the first time, but rookie wide receivers, rank these guys. So we'll go Quentin Johnson, Zay Flowers, Jordan Addison, and who's the 4th I'm forgetting?
JSN.
Yeah, JSN. Oh, that's what we do. We call him JSN. Nice. Okay.
I like Addison this year.
I think we do.
I think Cousins has shown that he normally targets 2.5 receivers, I'd say.
Yeah.
And one of them is going away in Thielen. Whether Thielen produced or not, he still had a huge target share. I think Addison's your best bet now. Zay Flowers, you're hearing a bunch of good stuff about.
Oh my God! All right, yeah. Well, same with
I don't know
JSN
if it's the hype, but JSN, if he weren't on the Seahawks with 2 studs, like he's your most talented. But I think it could, to me, it'd probably be Addison, Flowers, JSN, then Johnston.
Wow, because Johnson's got the best QB, right? But
yeah, but Johnston's so boom or bust depending on Allen and Mike Williams' health.
Which is last year was terrible, right? Palmer led the team in receiving yards.
Yeah, but that's another thing is Palmer's pretty solid. So you got to beat out Palmer, which he might do at the end of the year.
I mean, we're going to probably go maybe the 45-minute mark here. So we got a few minutes. We got about 8 minutes left. Let me hype this draft guide one more time. $4 NFL draft guide. It's got everything. If you don't have it, you're going to be a severe disadvantage. Couldn't recommend it more. It's the best bang for your buck you might ever spend in your entire life. Hey, I'm getting better at this. Okay. So yeah, last year, right here, I targeted all those kind of the great handcuffs, right? I got Ramondre, Tony Pollard, and that just carried me at the end of the season. This year, it doesn't seem like there's that many like kind of established handcuffs, like kind of how like Madison was. I feel like the move is now you got to pivot to almost the rookie handcuff, right? Tanks and Charbonnet. And your Cincy guy, is it Chase Brown? He's a rookie too, right?
Yeah. And then
also you got Devin Achane out of Miami.
Yeah, A-Chain. Yeah. Again, I mean, it's camp, so you're going to hear hype about any young player, but he's been getting pretty well hyped, I think.
But go ahead.
I feel like running back, it's just shifting more and more away from like bell cow, where if you find a rookie with if you can find a rookie who will be doing a lot in the passing game from rushing, I think that's the way you got to go. Maybe check out preseason, see who's getting targeted. That might just be, all right, whether you're at auction, throw $1 or $2 at the end of the draft to some random second, third stringer that proved himself in the pass game.
James Cook last year, right? He didn't really live up to it, but I'm a pretty big Cook guy. I mean, he's probably one of the best handcuff guys you can get, right?
Yeah, I mean, who's their number one? I guess Harris is their number one.
Yeah, well, he's going to be getting goal line touches. He's going to get those early down runs, right?
Yeah, I mean, running back is so, once you get past like 20, it's just such a shot in the dark that take a few. And I like to go early, get a few that I know will actually play, and then don't draft any for a long time. Well, yeah, people who like a Cam Akers whether you like him or not, who else is going to get carries on that team?
I agree. So Akers went for, I'm looking at him right now, $29 last year. Does he go for more or less this season?
I'd say almost the exact same.
Okay.
Akers
he finished a beast.
Yeah, Akers managers hated themselves at the beginning, probably traded him away.
Or dropped him.
I drafted Akers, traded him away, and then traded back for him for the end, and I loved it. But, like, I think you're going to get a lot of – it's just, like, finding somebody with a strict role. I'd want two people with, like, a role that I can count on, even if it's a David Montgomery this year where he has the goal line role and he's going to get carries, but Gibbs will take him in the passing game. That's fine. I know what to expect. And then I just take shots at the end.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, I was looking at. Yeah, I think Montgomery went 17, more or less this year. This is my new favorite game.
I would go a little less. I think people are hyping up Gibbs a lot.
I am. Yep, big Gibbs guy.
What would you spend on Gibbs?
Huh? Pardon?
What would you spend on Gibbs this year?
Well, I would spend on Gibbs. I would spend $22 to $24 on Gibbs.
Okay.
All right. O-line, schedule, division, run pass differential. I feel he didn't get to show all his stuff backing up Bijan. I think he's not a poor man's Bijan, but I don't know, if Bijan's a billionaire, Gibbs is a millionaire version. But yeah, he couldn't be in a better system to succeed, right? Playing indoor, maybe the indoors is not great, but big Gibbs guy. But so this is my best handcuff. This is probably my favorite pick for auction. AJ Dillon next year. He went for $20 last year. Kind of had a disappointing year, but got all the goal line touches. But Aaron Jones is right at that age cliff. I know he led the league in yards per carry last year, but man, if he falls off a bit or gets hurt, like AJ Dillon is a RB1.
He's a scary looking guy. I would not want to be in front of him. It's funny. I actually just traded AJ Dillon in a auction dynasty to Keith. Keith is
wow.
But I think that Packers offense. I feel like there's going to be a lot of value in it, all depending on if Jordan Love's the guy.
Yeah, out of camp, it's looking like he's the guy, but
he's definitely the guy that's starting. But is he going to be I'd say even top 20 quarterback?
Yeah, sure. I'll give him that. But all right, let's rank the second year. Well, he's not second year, but so Jordan Love, Kenny Pickett, and oh my God, Atlanta quarterback,
Ritter.
Yeah, Desmond Ritter. Well, fantasy wise, how do you rank them? Keith posted the trade.
You said Jordan Love, Pickett,
and Ritter. Yeah,
I'd probably Love above them all.
Wow.
Pickett's the safest. Ritter, like they drafted Bijan for a reason. They're going to use him.
They are going to use him, but
maybe they get lucky. Like he gets lucky. He has a few dump offs that go for a long time. Whether it's even Patterson, you can dump it off to when Bijan isn't in. I don't like Ritter.
I got two half segues here. All right, would you pay for Bijan in an auction? $55?
If I was going stars and scrubs, yeah.
Yeah. I think
because you're already risking it. Might as well just add risk to it. Like if you're gonna risk a little bit, just especially if you're in like a very competitive league, just go all in. Like if you're a big Josh Allen fan, pair him with Diggs. You can do that.
It's like Apple and Amazon.
Yeah, like if you're a big Jalen Hurts fan, see if you can get Smith and AJ Brown.
The problem is you got to get Hurts first, because if you get Brown and Smith, they're gonna make you pay for Hurts.
Yeah, but like even like Bengals, Chiefs, Bills, Eagles, just teams you look at that have great great offense, and they're just gonna they're gonna be top 10 in offense. If you can just milk anything you can out of that offense. They'll have their down weeks, but so does any player. And you're just going to get so much upside with just stack on stack on stack.
Yeah, no, can't argue with that. I'm obsessed with the Seattle from last year, right? Because everyone thought they were bottom 3 team, they're tanking. Geno sucks, so DK's done, Lockett's done. Geno comes out, slings it. How many yards did he have last year? I'm guessing like 43, 4,400. No, probably not that high, but
he wasn't he like 5 or 6 on the year?
Yeah. But he raised, right? He put DK to where he was, put Lockett. So anyone who got them, gangbusters, right? But so I ask this all the time, but who is the team that makes that offensive leap this year that you think is probably going to be in the dregs?
I mean, I think your closest comparison, just like player to player, is probably the Bucks, just because they have Godwin and Evans.
The Bucks.
Like they have Godwin and Evans, and Baker can distribute the ball. I'll give him that. I don't think he's going to be a top 6 like that. You have the wide receiver talent there. And then I could see the Jags taking another step.
Let's say the Jags don't count because they're already like semi-established.
I'm trying to think.
Right? Like you go Steelers, you could go Bears.
I would still with the Bucks just because of the wide receiver talent.
Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna kind of agree with you. Yeah, because Evans and Godwin are going. I mean, I know I'm not bidding on them at all. There's gonna be a lot of people like that. You're gonna get them for pennies on the dollar. And if Baker kind of shows up, rejuvenates his career somehow with no O-line, but if he can throw 36, 4,000 yards, right? They're each gonna break 1,000 and just crush their ADP.
Exactly.
I won't be doing it though.
I don't go all first, second year. I would definitely pair one of those with 1 or 2 first, second years as a way of mitigating, like get a safe and upside. That's normally what I tend to do. And I think those two pair well with probably any wide receiver you'll find on your team.
Yeah, that's fair. All right, I think we're going to wrap up here in 1 second. I'll hype the Fantasy Pass one more time. $4 a month. Get it now before it jumps up. There's also how much is the All Sport? Is it $10 now? You get basketball, football, hockey. You get everything we got. You got gambling guides, so you can just make one bet, make your money back off it, and instantly. But like we end most pods, $7 a month. Oh my god, even better.
Steal.
So like we're gonna end every pod. Jameson Williams. Let's go. I want to make a bet over under fantasy points. If I say he'll score 100 fantasy points this season, will you bet it? You think under?
I mean, all the news at camp too, and yeah, it's camp, but like the news wouldn't come out if there wasn't issues. Is wow, he's so fast, he just can't catch.
Oh, yeah, that's not great.
So many drops, and again, like I'm sure he's going to have a game of 3 catches for 120 yards and a touchdown. Like,
sure,
that's bound to happen. I don't see it. Okay. Where are you willing to take him?
I mean, I don't know.
Or auction. What would you auction for him?
I get him. I think I can get him for $6-7.
There.
I mean, I'm priced in now. So.
8 weeks.
That's fine. I mean, that'll suck, but I'm going to die in this mountain, so I may as well go out swinging. Okay, Brian. So you and Shane are doing your pod. When?
It's next week. We're doing the QB.
Should be very fun. Okay, and then apparently me and Brian are going to be doing Tuesday trades all season. So hopefully we'll be making some trades. There you go, Keith. You're the man. Wednesday, 6 p.m. What time zone though? Central.
I think it's Central.
Central. Oh, Central. All right. Well, I guess until then. All right, Brian. Until next time. We got to break down something else. I don't know what it'll be, but we'll figure it out.
We'll break down all of our trades.
All right. Perfect. All right. Later, guys.